A single handful of wood ash buried under your pumpkins will swell the fruit. And it works for one honest reason. Before I get into it, if you want a harvest that actually pays you back, subscribe and stay with me. It genuinely helps. Picture that gray handful, scooped straight out of the metal bucket beside the fireplace. Cold ash. The stuff most people just throw out. You tip it into the dark soil right beside a thick, sprawling vine, and that free handful does what a whole bag of feed never managed. Because here is the frustration you already know too well. You have a monster of a plant. Leaves like dinner plates. Yards of vine trailing right across the bed, climbing the fence, swallowing the path. And under all that green, a sad little pumpkin the size of a cricket ball, sitting there for weeks, refusing to fatten. If you have grown a jungle of leaves this year and barely a pumpkin worth carrying, this is exactly why. So let me tell you what actually went wrong. It is nearly always the same thing. You fed nitrogen all season. General feed, lawn feed, a bit of everything green in a bottle. And nitrogen grows leaves. Beautiful, enormous leaves. It grows the plant. It does not grow the fruit. So you end up with a jungle and nothing under it. So why does a plant that size give you nothing? It is almost never the plant. It is one missing nutrient. Here it is, plainly. A swelling pumpkin is a potassium machine. Every single gram that fruit puts on, it drags out of the soil as potassium. That is the fuel it burns to size up, and when the soil runs short of it, the fruit does not slow down gently. It simply stops. The vine keeps sprawling, the leaves keep spreading, and the pumpkin just sits there at cricket ball size, stalled, because the one thing it needed to grow ran out. Now. That gray ash in the fireplace bucket? Wood ash from clean, untreated wood is almost pure potassium. Around 10% potash. Clean wood only. No painted timber, no treated pallets, no barbecue lumps with additives. Just plain burnt wood. Which means the exact nutrient your fruit is starving for is sitting free in the grate, going in the bin. So it was never about feeding more. You fed plenty. It is about feeding the right thing at the right moment. And this is where most people go wrong twice over, because you can absolutely get this wrong. So here is the part that matters. Because a whole bucket of ash will scorch the roots, and a mean little pinch does nothing at all. There is one exact moment to bury it. One exact amount, and one exact place around the stem. Get those three right, and the fruit fattens under your hands. Get them wrong, and you damage the very plant you were trying to save. The moment, the amount, the place. The moment, the amount, the place. Get them right, and the fruit fattens. So here they are, one at a time. Start with the moment, because this is where most people waste the ash entirely. You wait. You wait until the vine has actually set fruit, and the little pumpkins are the size of your fist. Not before. Feeding a pumpkin potassium when there is no fruit yet to swell is like filling the tank of a car with no engine in it. Nothing to spend it on. So you hold off, and the day you see those first fist-sized pumpkins sitting on the vine, that is your signal. That is the moment. Now the amount, and this is where people either do nothing or do far too much. 1 to 2 handfuls of sieved wood ash per plant. Roughly a cupful, that is it. Sieve it first, through any bit of mesh, so you lose the lumps and the charcoal and keep the fine gray powder. A cupful of clean ash, held in 2 hands, per plant. No more. Then the place and the action. You work it lightly into just the top inch of soil, in a ring a hand's width out from the stem. A hand's width. Never piled against the stem itself, because sat right on the stem, it will burn it. So you keep it out in that ring, scratch it into the top inch, and then you water it in well with a can. So the potassium starts dissolving and moving down to where the roots can reach it. Bury it under the vine, into the soil, never on the leaves. Once now, and once more a few weeks later. That is plenty. That is the whole method. And here is where I owe you the honest bit. You will have seen people online swear blind that a copper pipe pushed into the ground feeds a pumpkin, or a mystery tablet dropped in a liter of water. It does nothing. Genuinely nothing. The ash works for one reason and one reason only, which is that the potassium in it is real, and the plant genuinely needs that potassium right now, at this exact stage. There is no magic in it. There is just the right nutrient, at the right moment, in the right place. But do not get carried away. Ash is strong, and it is alkaline. Dump a whole bucket of it on, and you will scorch the feeder roots and lock up the other nutrients the plant is trying to pull from the soil. You will do more harm than the copper pipe ever could. A handful watered in. That is the whole trick. Restraint is the skill here. Tell me in the comments what is stalling for you this year. Pumpkins, squash, or something else entirely. I read them. And if straight growing advice with no nonsense is what you came for, subscribe. Then straight back to it. Because feeding the fruit is only half of what that handful does. There is a second thing happening under the soil that has nothing to do with nutrition. It is about whether your ground is sweet or sour. And it is the real reason a pumpkin vine sulks all season and refuses to size up past that cricket ball stage. Sweet or sour. Because pumpkins hate sour, acidic ground. And that second thing the ash is doing is quietly fixing it. Here is what happens on sour soil. The vine sits there, pale, sulking, throwing out leaves but never really committing to a fruit. You feed it, you water it, and it just stalls. The ground is too acidic, and a pumpkin will not size up in ground it does not like. That is not a nutrient problem you can pour your way out of. It is the soil itself working against you. Wood ash fixes it. Ash is alkaline, so a handful worked in gently raises soil pH toward the neutral to slightly alkaline range. The exact range a pumpkin loves. It sweetens the ground. The vine relaxes, the roots start pulling properly, and suddenly all that feeding you have been doing actually lands. And here's the part I love. It is the same handful. The same gray scoop of ash lifted out of the fireplace bucket does both jobs at once. The potassium feeds the swelling fruit, because a swelling pumpkin is a potassium machine, burning through it gram by gram, and the alkalinity sweetens the sour ground underneath. One move. Feed and fix together. That is exactly why ash suits pumpkins, squash, and winter gourds so well. They want that sweeter soil, and they are hungry for potassium at the same time. The amendment matches the crop. That is the whole game. But, and this matters, that same match is why you have to be careful where you throw it. The same ash would harm blueberries and potatoes, which want acidic soil. Sweeten the ground under a blueberry, and you starve it, because it needs sour to thrive. So if you also grow blueberries or potatoes, keep this ash well away from them. Same handful, wrong crop, and you set them back. Right nutrient, wrong bed, and you undo the very thing they need. So let me pull the whole thing back together, start to finish. You wait until the vine has set fruit and the little pumpkins are the size of a fist. No earlier. You take a cupful of sieved, clean wood ash and you work it lightly into the top inch of soil in a ring a hand's width out from the stem. Never piled against the stem. Then you water it in well, so it starts moving down to the roots. Once now, once more a few weeks later. That is it. Every time, it is feeding potassium into the fruit and sweetening the ground as it goes. And that cricket ball fruit that sat there stalled all July, that is the one that finally fattens. Not because of a copper pipe, not because of a mystery tablet in a jar of water. Those do nothing. It fattens because you gave the plant the one thing it was actually short of, at the exact moment it needed it. It costs nothing. A minute at the fire, scooping the ash into a bucket. A minute at the vine, working it in. That is the whole price. And it is the difference between a patch of pretty green leaves with nothing under them and a pumpkin so heavy you need both arms to carry it up the path to the kitchen door. A handful of ash, buried at the right moment. That is it.